All right, we're recording, so let's get this intro out of the way. So welcome everybody to the very first episode of Reveel'd, which is just a very simple idea to meet the creators behind some of the great content that you've been watching on the Reveal movie platform. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Hello, nice.
And I don't even have to put up your extra graphic for Fatfoot Films because you're branding yourself with your hoodie there. I had a chance to go through and watch the content that you have on Reveal. The first thing that I saw that I really gravitated towards was there's a ghost in the bathroom.
Oh, that's our newest short. Yes,
which I really love. I think you did something great in. A lot of people try to be too ambitious in terms of locations and cast and everything else when making a short, and there's nothing simpler than two people, one room, and just a great concept.
In a great bathroom.
How did that talk a little bit about like making that like where's the idea come from? Like what it's a horror comedy. Is that a genre that you like to play in?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of our favorite. Our good friend, Tom Ribeiro, who's producer on Stray. He wrote this like 10 years ago with a buddy of his. And it was just a short, it was a 3-page script. I don't even think it was that long. And he just wanted to do this argument between a guy just trying to relax in his tub and a ghost that was there to really just mess with him. And during quarantine, as we've all been dealing with.
So that was shot in 2020?
Yes.
Yeah.
We shot it back last weekend of October, weekend before Halloween. And we were nervous because we haven't done anything. So everyone wore masks. We had everything we needed, protection. We did the temps, all that stuff. And it was just, the bathroom it was a fairly large bathroom. It had a nice claw tub in it.
It looked sizable. I was like, did they build a set for this?
Because no. It was a nice bathroom, but the idea that he had an older house, so it helped with the ghost theme.
Mm-hmm.
The old claw tub. And I was able to I was the DP on that. And then I was able to like kind of get behind the tub and get the over the shoulder reaction shot. So that was all just right there in the bathroom. It was just me and the audio guy and the two actors at most in the bathroom. So
you mentioned being a DP because I know that you direct, you write, you definitely are a multi-hyphenate. You do quite a bit of that. Is that the way you like to work, or do you have a preference? If in a dream scenario, what's your career path? Like where are you going with your next films? What's the thing you'd like to be known for if you don't have to multi-hyphenate?
Yeah, I would love to be writer, director. I do like shooting, but I think directing and just focusing on that one task would be amazing, because usually half the time we're focusing on everything and not just directing, making sure that everything's running smoothly at all times. So,
and where are you based in the world?
We're based out of Massachusetts.
So how do you get your start in Massachusetts? It's not the bright center of Hollywood. You're starting to make movies. What was the path?
Well, when I was in high school, my parents said you either go to college or you get kicked out of the house. So I was like, okay, I'll go to makeup school in LA. Went out there for a year, came back home, and I was, when I was in LA at the time, they were all saying that animation is the new special effects. And they said animation was going to take over everything that was makeup. So I decided to go to animation school. And when I was there, I learned how to edit and shoot. And I just kind of started going from there. I got into infomercials, made my first full-length feature. We did a thing on the local access show, a local access channel. And we've done a lot of stuff. I've been doing this for 20 years, so it's kind of hard to think of
how long has Fatfoot Films and that team been together?
Honestly, we've been together since like 2001.
Oh wow. So
we didn't really
happy 20th anniversary.
Yes, thank you. We came up with a name probably like 5 or 6 years in, but we've always been that core group of people since 2001. And I mean, a lot of close friends, family, and you get older, a lot of people start families, and you know, they're still here to support, but they're not a
Yeah.
part of the process.
You're
So
playing, you're playing in different genres. There's the horror comedy, Love at First Boop, which is also on Reveal, is just a straight up comedy. And then I also watch Stray, which is a longer format short, and definitely feels more in the vein of like a television show in the world of the supernatural, or I guess, would you call it? Is it a thriller? Is it a horror movie? I never know how to exactly classify things.
I think it's a thriller. It's definitely not a comedy.
So
So
you do a lot, but is there a philosophy or a motivating factor at Fat Foot Films of how you choose your projects, or the genres the stories you want to tell?
uh, yes, I think what it is we just want to get better. Every single time we get behind the camera,
Mhm.
in front of the computer screen, we're trying to outdo ourselves from the time before. And with Stray, we were able to get a lot of people on board budget wise. I mean, we all put our own money into it, and we just went full force with it. And at first, I mean, we didn't really know what to do with Stray. We were just going to make this long, short film. I mean, 35 minutes is a long short, So for the festival run, it was very difficult to get into festivals because of that. So
Yeah, it's hard to, just so people at home understand, with festivals, they want their shorts short. There's always the rumor and the myth that 10 minutes and under is the sweet spot, so that they can program
yeah,
10-minute shorts in a 90-minute block,
of
or
course.
9-minute shorts, or whatever the math is. I'm not a mathmatician. I'm a filmmaker.
And unfortunately, I think that really screwed us, in the film festival, but also 2020 film
Yeah.
festivals were shut down. So we actually got a lot of refunds from this year, but
Oh, you sought out refunds. I didn't think that. I've been doing some stuff in the virtual world, but so finding an audience through Reveal, and an online home like Reveal is a much better outlet for you, if not
huge.
a festival path. How now? I'll say that I think that Stray looks like your sort of greatest production value, out of the work that I was able to see. How do you Are you able to go back, you're 20 years in now, like, are you proud of the progress that you're making, of the way that things are going? Like, how do you see the evolution of the company, and where do you kind of hope to be in 5 years?
Well, that's a great question. 20 years ago, with what we made then and what we're making now, I wish we did Stray 10 years ago. I always feel like we're still far behind. We've been doing it for so long, but I mean, initially, I just want to make full length features. Like, that's what I'd like to do, with an actual budget, and just kind of like, I mean, I know people riff on Adam Sandler stuff, but I mean, how fun is it? You have all your
Mhm.
friends, all the people that have been there for you from day one. I just want to go back to all those people and say, hey, we're going to make a movie, and we have an actual budget, and I'm going to hire everybody, and we're going to have a blast. That's the goal with us. We've always had fun. If you watch our behind the scenes, we have fun on set, because it's grueling. It's 18-hour days. It can be, I mean, it's stressful. It can be fun, but it's also stressful. So we try to keep the energy high, even when it's 4 a.m. We've been there since 6 a.m. So,
And you find that people are generally, they're very proud of the work that you're all creating together, and sort of happy to put in those long days.
one of the best compliments that we get is not like the reviews, but it's always the people that we work with. They say, I love these guys. I'd love to work with them again.
And
And
that's the best case scenario, that you can
yeah,
be you can be a coach and a team captain that people want to play with and play alongside of.
100%. I think, the first of all, Massachusetts is small. The
Mhm.
film community is even smaller. So when I go and talk to an old actress, and she says, wow, I tell people that I worked with you guys on this movie, and you guys have a very good reputation. And I'm like, well, that's great. I like that,
Yeah.
because the last thing you want to do is have a bad reputation in such a small community, because there are people that don't.
You won't get to make too many more projects.
Right. Right.
Uh, Going back a little bit to Love at First Boop, uh, hilarious concept. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was that created for a 48-hour film challenge?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So again, just to explain to the audience, what is a 48-hour film challenge?
so Boston has a 48-hour film festival. It starts
Mhm.
on Friday night at 7 p.m. and it ends Sunday night at 7 p.m. You go to this bar, there's all these filmmakers there. They give you your genre, you have a line, you have a character, and you have a prop. I think
So
that's
there's
it.
3 or 4 things that you have to include in your
Three or
film.
four things you have to, and it has to be between 4 and 8 minutes. Okay.
Hmm.
And we get our stuff, we go back, we shoot it at my house. We keep it simple. That's the other thing.
Hmm.
You don't want to try to do too much. The first year we did it, we had 48 locations. It was ridiculous. And the second year we did it, we tried to build a set, got too much. So the third year, I think, no, this is our fourth year doing it. Finally, we kept it to one house, 3 actors, very simple. Okay. And it was kind of it felt better too. You know, it wasn't as stressful.
Hmm.
We got it out the door and we watched it. We were very happy with it. And then, like, I think we had a screening. It was either the screening or right after that, we get a phone call from the guy that runs it. And he's like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've been disqualified.
Oh no.
We said the line wrong. So there's a line. Everybody has to say this one line.
Do you remember what the line was?
Oh, I couldn't have. Oh, man. There's
I
so
feel like
many.
if there was one line of dialogue that disqualified a whole film of mine, I would brand it on a T-shirt and wear it everywhere.
So I think he put I forget exactly what it was, but it was such a small thing. It was like he put like the word not in there or the, and that's all it was. And nobody even noticed it. And when I got that phone call, I was just laughing.
So they don't appreciate actor improv on their script. It's very Aaron Sorkin over there for them. They need everything word perfect.
I think it was I couldn't have said it any better,
Hmm.
or I couldn't have said it better. Oh, I think it was I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think he said I couldn't have said it any better myself. That's it.
Wow.
One simple line. And when I got that phone call, because I think the premiere happened and we won for best audience. We won the audience award. We were going to the finals,
Okay.
but we were disqualified because of that. And I mean, I wanted to kill the guy over the phone because I was like, "Are you kidding me? One
Yeah.
word disqualified us." I think we would have taken home that year. I think we would have won because there's a lot of people that said it was really good. A lot of people liked it. I mean, that was.
Did you go home and fire your continuity person for the lack of oversight?
It's actually it was Dan Black, the director, the co-director. He was the
hard,
actor in it. We just
what I liked about the show was because you even have some like visual effects in the fights,
right.
you know, and the fact that, you know, so you're essentially you start Friday night and by Sunday night you have to have the film finished.
Fully edited,
So
music,
you can't really prep what to film because you don't know. That's the reason they give you those 4 things, right? The different categories, like say this line, have this prop. It's this is the genre, because they don't want you to have like written a script in advance and try to kind of cheat the contest, because the
and,
idea is to purely go in and see what you can come up with in 48.
right.
I've never done one personally. I edited one 48-hour film. I don't have the guts to take that on, because I can't imagine creating in 48 hours. So I think that's interesting for people to know when they watch, you know, Love at First Boop, that this is something that was like conceived and completed within the average weekend, where most people just spend it streaming, you know, episodes of The Office or something.
Right.
You guys went out and created an entire film.
That was our 4th year doing it. So it was like being a senior in high school. We've been there, we did that. And the year before that, 2 years before that, we tried to cheat. And what we tried to do is we tried to write something, and we had like ideas right now. We're like, okay, this will be easier if we have it, and we'll just like turn it into a comedy, or we'll turn it into this. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. It was still good. It just wasn't. It didn't. The audience, they like to watch silly stuff, and we knew what the audience wanted. They wanted something like Boop. And my wife did a lot of great makeup on that. She did.
It looked great. It looked awesome.
The head wounds. I mean, we destroyed my living room. We had they beat the hell out of each other. And the biggest laugh that we got is when she kicks him in the face. He punches her in the face, and she grabs his head and puts it in the grill. People were dying. I mean, it's like Looney Tunes at this point, you know?
I think I'd fail at interviewing you and talking about your content if we didn't talk about Mustache Brigade, which is
Oh,
also on Reveal.
yes.
How does that come about? Because that is such a wild departure from all of the other content that you have.
So I like to describe it as if Leslie Nielsen and Quentin Tarantino made a movie together. That's the best way to describe it. But the Mustache Brigade was kind of a concept that we had years ago. And we were like, oh, this would be kind of funny if we had just these caped crusaders with just mustaches on, and they're supposed to be terrible mustaches. They're not supposed to look good, bad wigs. And the whole idea was just for us to learn green screen and kind of come up with these different effects and blood spray, just to really, perfect our art of special effects.
Mhm. So essentially, you figured why not make a product and a finished output versus just do some screen tests.
Exactly. So a couple of screen tests that we did was we did people in the car. We had green screens around it. It didn't come out that great. I mean, we got better as we went. But
Listen, you got entire city blocks exploding in episode 1, so
right.
like it looks like a success to me.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean,
How do you come up with that concept? I mean, it's such a outlandish comedic idea.
well, Mustache Brigade, the
Yeah,
whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's what happens when you're on set with people, and the creativity is flowing. I don't even know who actually came up with the idea, really. We would always just, I would go to the prop shop and just buy like random stuff. And I think we just came up with the Mustache Brigade, just being silly. And the first episode, like one of the rules that I always have is how do you do action packed with literally one scene, one little area? If you watch the first episode, it's a green screen. They jump off a building, they come down, they're in front of a door where these two goons are just blocking the door because there's something going on inside.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go in there. We're going to kill everybody. They go in the door. You hear everybody getting shot and killed. They come back out. They have blood all over them. And they've won. And it was fully action-packed from start to finish, and nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, it was all shot
in the most contained area, which again, I think is great in indie film. I think, again, what average audience might not understand is, the more contained, the less cast and crew you need, the better chance you'll have of getting financing, of getting a product kind of out the door.
Correct.
You see it, those bigger companies like Blumhouse that have mastered it, like the first Purge movie is just like 4 or 5 actors in a house. Sure, if it's successful, they spend more on the sequels, but there is a real trend in a way in indie cinema to minimize what you're doing. So, Mustache Brigade, and you were essentially doing the same thing that like Sin City would do, where you're shooting with a lot of green screen and a lot of digital effects, and just you're almost like a perfect candidate to next elevate to like that screencraft technology that Mandalorian is using, because you're building virtual sets and virtual cinema. And what I liked about it was it's just such a different in tone and in comedic style, but also just with the amount of visual effects is completely different than everything else that you've created that's on Reveal.
Yes.
I don't think that anybody watching your content, I had actually seen 2 items of yours on Reveal before I realized they were made by the same company, because they just feel wildly different. I think that's a really interesting aesthetic to have, that your body of work can feel so different.
Well, going back to our first film was called Morning Wood, right? Mm-hmm. Humping zombies, attack a small town. I mean, and it was us. It was our 6 or 7 friends all just playing all the different characters. It was ridiculous. But it took us like 4.5 years to make. And then literally when we were in the last year of that film, we started Join the Apocalypse, which is a drama that actually went straight to TV. Now, talk about going from humping zombies to the end of the world drama of just a couple walking around a city on the last day on Earth and just kind of falling in love again. And that's all it was. But I didn't want to get I think it's the right word, pigeonholed into being like, oh, these guys just make, they just make zombie movies, or they just make horror movies. There's definitely, we do love the Mustache Brigade type stuff. We do love the horror, the Ghost in the Bathroom. That's like our dream, to make a full-length feature with that type of style.
Yeah.
But as a filmmaker, you really gotta try to do everything to really feel what is right for you guys.
I think it's an interesting creative path, because you're making sure that you're not leaving anything on the table. you're at least trying all the genres. And if, you know, like if all of a sudden like, oh, romantic comedies, that's the thing I'm great at least you tried it and know that, you know, you'll find your direction. You'll narrow and find the perfect path by trying a bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know? I got a couple, one sort of last big question, but I did want to mention that, you know, in doing my research on you, I had seen some of your work years ago that I never realized because we share a mutual friend in the band Air Traffic Controller.
Oh,
Because you did their music video for The Work, which I
yes.
remember very like Ghostbusters meets. I had fun rewatching it this morning, but I remember loving it when it came out. Dave Monroe, Stacy, their manager, the
Yes.
band. I've directed music video projects for them. I know them very well. Their producer is actually one of my best friends. But I remember loving that video when I first saw it. So I have technically been a fan of Fat Foot Films for 10 years, I guess. That's probably going back 10 years. Yeah.
So Dan Black, who I met at the infomercial company
Mhm.
that I was working at, I was making Morning Wood, and he came on set, and he was like, "Wow, he's like he's a writer. I mean, and when he came on our set, he's like, what is going on here?" Because it was like a bunch of monkeys just running around, just not knowing what we were doing. But he liked what we were doing. He liked the enthusiasm and all the people on set. So he started helping us. We made Join the Apocalypse. He started working at Arlington Community Access Channel, where he met those guys. And next thing you know, he's like, "Hey, you want to help me co-direct a music video? We got ghosts in a abandoned jailhouse." I mean, that set, that location was phenomenal.
So through that project, you've met some of your now like regular collaborators.
Huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's always been the case. Like every time we've done everything, you just keep moving and you keep gaining more people, and you just that's why you don't ever not release something. That's why you always keep it going, you know. And the jailhouse was awful because they would put all the people that work in the jail and they throw them in there, and they would throw like not flash grenades but tear gas in there.
Yep.
And they would get them trained to be able to maneuver through tear gas.
Oh, wow.
So when we're running through this place, all that tear gas was the dust was going up. So we all had goggles and stuff because it was, I don't know if it was a very good environment to be shooting in, but everyone was fine.
Nothing that looks aesthetically pleasing on camera, I've learned, is a good environment to be. But the mass of 2020 and the pandemic should apply to most film sets because there's easily black mold. That's the least of your concerns generally.
Right. Right.
Yes. So I have one, you know, sort of final question. Like if you can give us any hints, anything that you can publicly state what's coming up from Fat Foot Films, what's sort of on the agenda for you?
That's a good question.
I know everything's top secret in this industry.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Right now we've been kind of just sifting through a lot of scripts. We have a stockpile of them, but we don't have anything that we're moving forward with. We're just trying to see where this year takes us. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have much to say about the future. You got me.
That sounds like a statement that's fitting for pandemic times where we all don't know how, when, and where we'll create next.
I'm hoping that it's going to be with Reveel'd. That's the plan, is to stick forward with this platform and keep creating with Reveel'd.
I don't think there's a better point to end it than that. So, you know, I thank you for having the courage and, you know, being my first sort of victim here on Reveel'd, the very first episode. Great to chat with you. I was happy to, you know, have found your work through Reveel'd, to get to know more, and then to also find out that I've technically been a fan for 10 years because of the music video.
And honestly, thank you, because this is why I like doing this.
I love it. I you know what it is? I've learned a lesson that I need to reach out to more creators. Like I saw that 10 years ago and loved it. Should have emailed you then. You know, it's on me for not having let you know. But
it's funny that sometimes everything that we do, like, you know, it doesn't pan out to be like this massive $1 million thing. We'll get a random email or a random message and be like, "Hey, I found your movie at a swap shop," or "I fell in love with this." She's like, "I saw the energy and the creativity that you guys put into it, and I like you guys." I was like, "Thank you. I appreciate that you like what we're trying to do." So
growing an audience is that is that one person, that one fan at a time, you know, and you don't need to hit everything. You can't always compete with Hollywood, so don't try. I think that's the lesson.
it's a slow process.
I'm going to end the broadcast there, but we can keep chatting outside of this. Thanks so much.
Thank you.